Hello, moviegoers, and welcome to another edition of Have You Seen It? I'm your host, Denise, and this episode is our annual Christmas episode where I will review a few of my favorite Christmas movies. There will not be a my favorite actor, and there won't be a nailed it. We're just going to go down memory lane and just talk about some of my favorites. But before I get into my review, I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge the recent passing of Rob Reiner, great actor and director, and his wife, Michelle, who were tragically killed this week, and Hollywood is still reeling from their passing. And so, of course, we at Have You Seen It want to make sure that we extend our condolences to Rob Reiner's family and friends. And also, one of my childhood actors passed away on the same day as Rob Reiner, and that was Anthony Geary. And if you are or were at some point in your life a soap opera fan, as I was for decades, you remember Anthony Geary as Luke Spencer on the soap opera General Hospital, and his controversial relationship with Laura Weber and their iconic wedding, which took place during the time when I was in college, and many of us either skipped our class to see this wedding or we just did not schedule a class at 3 p.m. But that particular episode garnered 30 million viewers and is still the highest rated episode in soap opera history. So we would like to extend our condolences to the family and friends of Anthony Geary as well. All of them will be sorely missed. All right, friends, I'm going to get into this Christmas episode. And I'm just going to tell you what my favorite Christmas movies are and just a little bit about each one as to why they are among my favorites. So I'm going to start out with White Christmas. That movie came out in 1954 and starred Bing Crosby, Danny Kaye, Rosemary Clooney. Yes, she is related to George Clooney, and Vera Ellen. And it is the story of a successful song and dance team played by Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye, and they become romantically involved in a sister act. And this sister act is on their way to Vermont to perform at a Vermont inn that is probably on its way to bankruptcy or something along those lines, because they just aren't getting the foot traffic that they once did. And when they get there, they find out that the owner of the inn is the former commanding general of the two gentlemen played by Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye when they were in the military. So they put on this big song and dance production in this man's honor. And the way that they put it together without this man knowing is still quite a mystery to me. But I tell you, the singing and dancing in that movie is epic. And it is a classic, one that I watch every year. So we have White Christmas. And then another favorite of mine is A Christmas Carol, and it stars George C. Scott and Frank Finlay and Angela Pleasance. Now, this movie has been done over and over and over and over again, but this 1984 classic is the one that I watch with the producer of this show every Christmas season. And it's, the story of a bitter old miser who rationalizes his uncaring ways until compassion literally knocks on his door in the middle of the night, and three spirits kind of change his way of thinking in some very extraordinary ways. So there you have it, A Christmas Carol. And then we have Die Hard. And I don't care what anybody says, Die Hard is a Christmas movie. It came out in 1988. Stars Bruce Willis, Alan Rickman, the late Alan Rickman, and Bonnie Bedelia. It was set at Christmas time. There are Christmas decorations and caroling all through the movie, and that makes it a Christmas movie for me. And we know that this New York City cop, played by Bruce Willis, comes to LA to visit his estranged wife, and he meets her, supposed to meet her at her office party, and he arrives, and unbeknownst to him, terrorists have taken over the Nakatomi Plaza, and they're holding hostages. And yes, it is his job and his job alone to save the day. And boy, does he save the day in dramatic fashion. It is a classic, and it is, I will say again, a Christmas movie. All right, moving down my list, I'm going to go to Charlie Brown. Charlie Brown Christmas came out in 1965. And we have our friend Charlie Brown, who's just, kind of down in the dumps and depressed about how the Christmas season has just become so commercial, so much so that Snoopy has won first prize for his decorating of his doghouse. And Charlie Brown has just had it, but just doesn't know how to get into that Christmas spirit. But there's Linus, who, as a best friend, kind of gives Charlie Brown that hope and shares with him what the real meaning of Christmas is. And so by the end of the film, Charlie Brown has his spirits lifted, and he has a newfound appreciation for Christmas because now he knows the real meaning. The music is fantastic. The party scene is epic. So that is one of the reasons why this is one of my favorite Christmas movies. And then I'm going down to my next movie. Let me tell you, folks, this movie knocked one of my favorites down to what I will call an honorable mention. The movie The Holdovers actually knocked Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer from the top 5 down to the honorable mention section. So The Holdovers came out in 2023. It starred Paul Giamatti, Divine Joy Randolph, who won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for her role in that film, and newcomer Dominic Sessa. So in this movie, you have a curmudgeonly history teacher at a New England boarding school who has to remain on campus during the Christmas break with students who were held over because they couldn't get home for Christmas. And it just shows their day-to-day activities where nobody really wants to be with one another, but they just got to make it work. And at the end of the film, by the end of the film, our history teacher and one of the most difficult students to reach, create a bond, and it's quite touching to watch. So you're going to need some tissue if you want to check that movie out. So now I go to my honorable mentions. Like I said, Rudolph has moved down to an honorable mention, but Rudolph is not alone because he is sharing space with Frosty the Snowman and the Grinch. So there you have it, friends, my Christmas favorites and honorable mentions. All right, folks, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. Make sure you hit that like button. And remember, we are available on HYSI, on BlueSky at HYSI. So until next week, you know what to do, moviegoers. I need you to see a movie because I'm going to see a movie. And until I see you again, Merry Christmas to all. Bye-bye.